This is the Pitaka Cairn ProGuard case, also known as the Pitaka Cairn case, and it might be one of the nicest looking rugged iPhone 17 Pro Max cases I've tested so far, which is exactly why I'm a little suspicious, because the case can look premium and still fail at the one job that matters most. Now, I know we're late into the iPhone 17 cycle, but with the iPhone 18 Pro Max only a few months away, and rumors that Apple may still stick with a similar aluminum design, this test may still be useful if you're planning to upgrade. After my own iPhone 17 Pro Max got damaged using one of Apple's clear cases, I've been a lot more skeptical of cases that look protective. Pitaka says this case meets military standard 18H and can survive drops up to 2.44 meters, which is about 8 feet. So today, I want to answer two questions. Can this case actually protect my iPhone 17 Pro Max? And after dozens of drop tests, will it still look good? Let's start with the drop test. Now before I start dropping the phone, I always check one basic thing first. Is the front lip of the case tall enough to help protect the screen? Because the case can have premium materials, nice buttons, and a great looking design, but if the screen is the first thing hitting the floor, that's a problem. So I use a simple white paper marker test. I mark the screen of the iPhone, then let it fall face first onto a sheet of white paper. If there's marker transfer, that means the screen is making contact with the surface. I also drag the phone across the paper to see if the screen touches during sliding contact. It's not a perfect lab test, but it gives me a quick way to see whether the case lip is actually keeping the screen raised. Unfortunately, the Pitaka Cairn case failed both of these white paper tests, which means there is a chance the screen will touch the ground if it falls face first. With that out of the way, let's take a look at the raw drop footage. And I really hope my screen doesn't break here. Alright, so here's the next case. This is the Pitaka UltraGuard case. This is my real iPhone 17 Pro Max. Let me show you guys the condition of the phone before I start. Screen is also flawless, there's no cracks. Here's the case. It's never been dropped. Corners are pristine right now. So we'll see how those hold up. Drop number one. By the way, if you like seeing these real-world drop tests and want to support the channel, make sure to like the video and subscribe. Also, let me know down in the comments what case you'd like to see me review next. Alright guys, so this is after 60 total drops. So let's just show condition of some of the major areas of the phone first. No damage to the camera lenses. And then no cracks or anything on the glass. Just take a closer look at the case. So during all 60 drops, case didn't slip off any of the corners. There is some noticeable wear on the corners, but not too bad. The color hides it pretty well, so not too bad at all. Let's look at the phone. So no new damage that I can see. There is some previous damage on here. So if you look at this corner right here, this is all old damage on the corners. Believe it or not, this actually happened after one drop using Apple's clear case back when this phone first launched. That was what kind of started this hunt for the best rugged case. But you can see here that this Pitaka UltraGuard case did pretty well. This would be drop number 61. Now that we've seen what happened in the drop test, the next question is why? Because a case like this is trying to do something that's harder than it looks. It wants to be slim, it wants to look premium, and it still wants you to believe it can protect a very expensive phone when it hits the ground. So let's take a closer look at the materials and finish. Starting with the back, Pitaka says this case uses woven aramid fiber, which is the material the brand is known for. That's the part that gives the case its signature woven look. And on this Sunset Moonrise version, the design has this color shift that moves from a warmer sunset tone into a darker moonrise color. It's definitely not the usual black rubber rugged case look, and I love how different it looks. I also like how it feels in the hand. The aramid fiber back gives you a little bit of grip when your fingers are resting on that part of the case, but I did notice it picks up oils from your fingerprints pretty easily. The MagSafe connection on the back feels nice and strong too. Now, one interesting design choice with the back are these raised corners. The bottom ones help to keep the case from rocking when putting it down flat on its back, and it works really well. I'm not sure if the top ones have any specific function other than to even out the look of the case, but it's really nice to see this little detail. None of the rugged cases I've reviewed before this one have had this, so it's worth mentioning. Moving around to the edges, this is where the case starts acting more like a protective case. This ProGuard version is not just one of Pitaka's super thin aramid fiber shells. It combines the aramid fiber exterior with a flexible TPU bumper around the frame. That matters because TPU is the softer material that usually helps with shock absorption. Pitaka also says it uses a 3D injection molding labeling process to bond the aramid fiber and TPU together. And around the corners, Pitaka says this case has 4 arched corners for additional drop protection. And from my experience, cases that have raised corners tend to not only do well with drop protection, but also do a good job of minimizing visible wear after those drops. The edges also help determine how this case feels every day, because the case can look great from the back, but if the sides are too slippery, too sharp, or too bulky, you'll notice it every time you use the phone. There's no special grip pattern on the sides of this case, but the sides of the case still feel grippy enough despite being completely smooth. I was never concerned about the phone accidentally falling out of my hands. Now, looking inside the case, Pitaka lists a plush Nappa leather interior. This is different from a microfiber lining. Nappa leather is generally known for having a more even surface, and here it looks and feels relatively smooth and soft. So from a daily use perspective, I like that the inside of the case does not feel rough against the phone. But I don't see Pitaka listing separate TPU pads or TPE reinforcements on the inner corners for this specific case. So the inside protection appears to come mainly from the leather interior, the TPU frame, the arched corner design, and the raised screen and camera lips. Now let's talk about the parts of the case you actually touch every day, because drop protection is important, but if the buttons feel bad, the ports are annoying, or the gestures get in the way, that's the stuff you notice long after the drop test is over. Starting with the regular buttons, Pitaka mostly gets this right. The volume up and down buttons feel great, they're easy to press, they have a nice click to them, and they don't make the phone feel worse to use. The power button also feels good. It has that same clicky response, which is exactly what I want from a case in this price range. But the action button is not as satisfying. It still works, but it feels mushier compared to the volume and power buttons. And then there's the camera control area. Unlike a lot of cases, this Pitaka case does not have a separate dedicated camera control button built into the case. Instead, the case is molded very thin in that area, so your finger can still interact with the stock camera control button on the iPhone itself. And technically, it works. I was still able to press and use camera control through the case. But because there is no dedicated case button here, it does not have that same sharp, satisfying click. It feels really mushy. And sometimes I found myself double checking whether my press actually engaged the camera control button or not. That may not be a deal breaker for everyone, but if you use camera control often, this is one of those small daily use details you'll probably notice. At the bottom, the ports are uncovered, which I usually prefer. My charging cables fit without any issues, and I didn't notice any problems with the speaker or microphone cutouts. Everything sounded normal, and the phone worked the way I expected it to. Swipe gestures are also really good on this case, and that's mostly because the front screen lip is pretty low. That does mean you may give up some of that extra raised edge protection compared to taller rugged cases. But the upside is that using the phone feels a lot smoother. Swiping from the top, bottom, and sides of the case, and moving around iOS all feel natural. So this is one of those nicer trade-offs with this case. So in the end, the Pitaka ProGuard case did a fantastic job protecting my iPhone 17 Pro Max through 61 total drops. And what impressed me just as much is that the case still looks really good after all that testing. At $60, it sits in that lower premium price range, and I think that price makes sense for what you're getting. It's a rugged case that actually looks good, feels comfortable in daily use, and most importantly, protects the phone really well. It's not perfect. The action button and camera control area still feel a little mushy, and I do wish Pitaka found a way to include a built-in kickstand. But even with those small complaints, if I were making a list of my top 10 rugged iPhone 17 Pro Max cases right now, the Pitaka ProGuard would definitely be on it. Now, if you want to see a case that I tested out on more than just manufactured hardwood floors, including wood, concrete, and asphalt, check out my dbrand take case video right here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.